Hello everybody, it's Inch Weather Predictions here. Today we're going to be talking about um, the severe weather, or not severe weather, but the strong thunderstorms that are currently ongoing in Florida. We'll talk about a bit of the cold temperatures that are ongoing across the Midwest and northern plains and areas like that. We'll talk about upcoming potential for severe weather. We'll also be talking about on some models, and yeah, so first here's the map. Right now we have a lot of stuff going on. Flash flood watch up in Maine. We have red flag warnings in northwestern Minnesota, South Dakota, North Dakota, portions of Montana, portions of Kansas and Colorado, Arizona. And then we also have a lot of freeze warnings in this little area and freeze advisories, and then in the purple right there, those are hard freeze warnings. Currently, here's your radar view. We currently have a supercell thunderstorm that is ongoing in Florida right now that is getting a little bit more organized rotation with it. See here's your velocity on the right, and there's your reflectivity on the left. We have some small hail falling with this and some gusty winds. Very interesting. The marginal risk currently goes out for portions of Miami, Fort Lauderdale, so they did expand the marginal bit for the north, and I will talk about that next. We have a marginal risk today, including 6.2 million people. We have no tornado chance, but just a wind and hail chance. But here's the risk map for today. Looks like you're going to get some thunderstorms in Florida today. You're going to get some fire danger in the Dakotas and like areas by Texas, and some wraparound mixed precip. Day 2, nothing really is going to happen. Day 3, it's going to be pretty quiet too. Maybe isolated thunderstorms in Texas, though. Fronts, we'll just take a look at that. By 6Z, the thunderstorm should be out of Florida. We could see some thunderstorms in Colorado and Arizona tomorrow, maybe a stronger one. On Wednesday, not Wednesday, but Monday, we can start to see a dry line come into picture, with a potential for some isolated strong to severe thunderstorms across this area. No severe risk has been placed by the Storm Prediction Center yet, but there is potential along the warm front to see something. Then isolated rain showers on Tuesday. Risk for showers and thunderstorms along the dry line on Wednesday in this area. And then on Thursday, we start to see just a risk of showers. We don't really know if there's going to be, well, there probably will be thunderstorms if we get the cap to break. Here's the precip over the next 7 days. Looks like the Midwest, looks like the Pacific Northwest is going to be the hardest hit in portions of Maine and then the Midwest, but it's really not going to be that wet. I do want to look at something else before we get going here. Here's the drought monitor. Currently we have very high drought across portions of the West. And here we have some pretty high drought across areas in here as well. This is helping to spark up significant fire danger. We also do see here, we're expecting a very warm next 6 to 14 days and pretty dry next few days. Pretty dry, to be honest with you. A lot of below average areas for dryness, but a lot of above average areas for temperatures. So here let's start off with the HRRR model. We'll first start off by zooming into Florida there. Then we'll go over to the Arizona area. We're gonna briefly go over the thunderstorms for later today. We'll do the forecast loop here. So the HRRR at around 18. This is around 19Z. 21. So you start to see these thunderstorms kind of gain strength with the instability, and then around, we'll say 9 p.m. they move. Oh wait, right around 9 p.m. they move offshore, and then maybe some isolated storms for the Florida Keys at that time. I will small this a little bit more. Then we start to see these thunderstorms really move offshore. So now we're gonna go move over to kind of the southwest region of the United States here. Just kind of take a look at this. Rain showers today are possible, and tonight. Tomorrow, we could see some thunderstorms get sparked off there. And then maybe some showers for California. Now let's go into the national perspective here. We're going to go to the GFS model now. we're going to look at the precip type. We have dominating high over right now, very strong dominating high, with the southerly wind that's going to start to perk up here. It looks like by Friday and Saturday, the Midwest is going to start to warm up again, and portions of the South. But the Northeast is going to stay cold, as you got more of a trough digging in there to the Northeast, and we have ridging across the western portion of the country. We start to see Saturday afternoon, looks like we get a low pressure with some significant snow across Washington and Canada. Then we might see some snow showers and rain showers. And then it looks like Sunday, Easter Sunday, it looks like we get some storms to form along the warm front kind of dry line combo here. We do end up taking some soundings there. We do end up seeing not really a favorable environment for any severe weather. It's going to be mainly a heavy rain threat. And maybe some isolated lightning strikes. Then Monday morning, we could see some showers and thunderstorms along the warm front in kind of that Iowa area. Nothing severe, but maybe some lightning, as I said earlier. Still some showers and thunderstorms. Then maybe in the evening hours, we start to see some severe thunderstorms pop up across Kansas. It's very capped, though, so we probably will only see we'll probably see some good structure out of those, but not really anything significant to evolve. Looks like the next day, it looks like the Dakotas along the warm front start to light up there. This is an environment favorable for some large hail. Probably no tornadoes, but maybe some cool structure because the dew points are very low and it's very elevated in nature. So I wouldn't really expect any tornadoes with that. Probably just some hail, maybe some wind gusts, probably more of a hail threat than anything. I skipped this ad too much. Looks like Wednesday could be an interesting day for portions of the Midwest, as that low pressure starts bombing out there. Yeah, that's a favorable environment for all threats to be possible. Mainly, maybe damaging winds and hail, though. Then we get dual low pressures to form across the area. And then we start to see something brew up in the south, and this threat is really starting to pique my interest. As you go along here, we start to see multiple areas of thunderstorms really start to perk up. End up taking some soundings here, lots of instability, and lots of wind shear. This is something we're going to need to watch across the south. Large Hodo. I think very interesting. We're going to need to watch definitely across the south here. Why did it scroll all the way to the end of the run? Really? I will go to about hour 171 right here. We're going to start to see the dew points. They're going to climb. They're going to get into the 60, 70 range. You're going to see your cape. Yeah, that's going to get really high. The cape is going to start to really get high. You can really start to see you got a distinct dry line, cold front type feature kind of in this area. And of course, you got your warm front probably in here. And then you have a low pressure further north with maybe some potential up there. Yeah, maybe some cold core potential. Actually, I don't know why there's instability up here. There's no dews. Maybe some thunderstorm potential up there, I should say, if there's anything that's going to form, which nothing Actually, there's another secondary low up there. You have a surface low down here, and then you probably have your upper level low that's right here. So that's probably why there's a little bit more instability up there. That confused me for a second. Look at northeastern Texas, though. You get soundings with upper 3,000 cape. If I do click one like right here, these Texas, you get one with 4,000. So that's going to be way enough. That's going to be enough instability to support some isolated supercell thunderstorms with large hail, damaging wind gusts, and maybe some tornadoes. And then you can see here, 0Z, we start to see that convection really increase. And typically the environment gets a bit more capped in the evening, but you already see the thunderstorms initiated. You still see that upper level low is a bit less distinct, but it's probably still like right in here at this point. And then we see that surface low, of course, really distinct surface low right there. And you probably have your cold front trailing it. I don't know. I can't really draw it out very well without dew points usually. As you can see, you're getting a lot of thunderstorms moves along here. Now, this is only one solution, so this may not occur. Just a warning. Looks like it bombs out up here. Yeah, it starts to bomb out up there. Maybe give a severe threat to North Georgia, potentially. Let me just take a sounding over there. Nope, it's not going to give a severe threat. Maybe out in front of it, maybe. Looks like another low starts to form along this convection right there and gives a brief little severe threat. But yeah, lots of heavy raining convection here. That's about as far as I'm going to go here. Maybe this low sticks around. The low does stick around. Temperatures and dew points aren't very high now, though. There's 30s. Snow, question mark? What? Looks like some afternoon snow is starting to bubble in there. That's fun. Yeah, that's a snow system right there. So that low pressure just sits there. My goodness. Is it gonna get pushed out? It's barely moving. This is a bit far out though. Let's look at the Euro model next. Yeah, we'll look at the Euro model next. So let's look at the Euro next. We're gonna loop this thing. We're gonna kind of look at the reflectivity, and then we might go a bit more in depth with the Euro. We'll see. Here's Saturday. Looks relatively nice. Doesn't really show any convection on Sunday, but the GFS does. Let me check if the NAM actually shows any, because the NAM does go out to Sunday now. Let me just check at 0Z here. Yep, NAM shows no convection, too strong of a capping inversion. But here's the reflectivity view of the Euro. As we see here, Sunday, maybe some thunderstorms, maybe some showers and thunderstorms break out over Texas Saturday. Then Monday is when we might see some thunderstorms perk up with the Euro solution, if that's true. We see here a favorable environment across Wisconsin for some large hail and wind gusts there. Hour 102 here. Yeah, look at the 850 millibar flow. We have some energy in that area. You look at the 500 millibar flow. We have not very much. It's very weak upper level flow in that area. So that's going to make me think we're not going to have much lift to work with, which is why the threat is probably going to be marginal. If we do have any instability, let's see here. Yeah, the dew points are really starting to get kicked up, though, at that point. Forecast will go 1 hour 102. Okay. Looks like some sort of thunderstorm complex forms that night. I'm not going to say it's anything like a derecho or anything, but it looks pretty significant. You see the northwest flow on these soundings here. You have some veering in the lower levels. You have the classic little northwest flow soundings. Looks like a classic day for some strong damaging wind gusts. Let me stop it at 108. I believe it's, yeah, 108. Your dew points do end up reaching up into the lower 60s in that area to upper 50s, and then we do have CAPE in that area of anywhere between 1,000 to 2,500. Now this is most unstable. We also have lapse rates, very high lapse rates, anywhere between 8 and 9, a little bit higher than 9. If your lower level jet kicking in anywhere between 15 to 30 knots, maybe 40, and then we do have weak upper level flow, which this is typical with a summer pattern. Weak upper level flow with more higher lower level flow. Maybe a bit more upper level flow across areas like Iowa. And like upper level flow, we do have a little bit. But it looks like the upper level wind shear and forcing might be lacking a little bit. We'll have to see. And you see that complex of thunderstorms move south. We start to get more of the dynamics up into play here. Start to move forward. Wednesday, the Euro actually shows a bunch of individual thunderstorms and maybe even supercells forming. We'll see if this happens. This is a week out, I think. A little bit over around 6 days out, so this can't really be trusted, but yeah, you can definitely see it. We'll stop it at 156 again and give a little bit more of an in-depth here. Okay, at this point there is more upper level flow due to a trough that is digging down, a negative tilted trough. I can see that tilt there. We do end up having a little bit more 850 millibar wind shear too, because this is this low pressure strengthens. You see it's coupled over Nebraska there, as our surface low I believe is there. Over Nebraska. Yeah, our surface low is over northeastern Nebraska. If you did look at the dew points and stuff here, we start to see we have a closed off low in Nebraska there. What looks like to be a dry line behind it. And then we do have that warm front that goes all the way up into central Minnesota, giving a favorable environment for severe weather. Actually, that was accidentally orange. Oh wait, that's orange because it's a dry line. Never mind. It's not accidentally. We do end up seeing most unstable CAPE reaching all the way up into north central Minnesota, with the highest values over Oklahoma, Kansas, Arkansas area. If I do end up taking soundings kind of in front of those thunderstorms over there, looks like a surface low forms like right about there. We start to see it's pretty capped off at this point, but you already see the thunderstorms that have formed. Later in the night, still ongoing. Looks like it kind of tries to wind up like right over me. We'll see if there's any instability right there. Nope, probably past the cold front at that point. We'll take a look and see if there's more instability for Dixie to maybe get on something. The GFS has been consistently showing Dixie Alley getting on something, and yeah, it looks like there is some instability left over, even up in Illinois. 850 millibar wind shear is not really particularly high in Dixie Alley. Looks like the main threat with this would be probably in this area due to weak flow across Dixie, but you can't rule out some isolated severe thunderstorms in Dixie if this solution does happen. But of course, the main threat. Yeah, there's actually a little bit of upper level forcing over there. Interesting. Something interesting could really amount out of this. We'll see. Pretty low flow overall with that sounding. What about Illinois here? There's no flow at all with that. What about the next day, Friday? Looks like Dixie again getting out on a fret. Probably some low flow again. And there's a little bit more shear with this one, and a little bit more veering with the winds and height. There's a bit more of a middle level cap there, like right at 700 millibars. Doesn't really have much instability either, but it looks like the low. Looks like there isn't really any other low. It looks like you have a low here. And you have a line of thunderstorms kind of went out here, and then you have the precip with the low around it in blue. Precip all the way up into Canada. Very interesting. What about 0Z? Texas with some individual storms? What's going on there? It's actually a pretty favorable environment. Very veered environment. Whoa. Lots of veering there. We'll see if that ends up happening. This is 200 hours out, though, so take this with a grain of salt. Looks like a new low forms, and then at 12Z at the next day. This is in the early morning, but we have a very large warm sector that is starting to set up across this area. We have 4,000 Cape, I think, or something. Yeah, we have a lot of instability really starting to set up there. We end up seeing a 850 millibar wind shear. We have some starting to set up for a Dixie Alley event at the end of the run, but this is, again, at the end of the run here. Now we're going to go, I'm not going to jump into the Canadian today. I'll jump into ensembles here in a little bit here, but now let's go with the GFS ensemble system. This is going to be the 12Z run. We're going to look at the mean supersonic composite parameter. So here's Sunday. They're showing a mean supersonic composite over that area, but remember that is capped off. Then Monday. Here's Tuesday. They're starting to get into pretty interesting agreement. They're already supersonic composite of 5. Which, that's pretty interesting for being 132 hours out, so that could be our next event. Not could be, it probably is. Cape probabilities are for 1,000 or 700 or 74%. If you look at the ensemble Cape, we see some ensembles show 3,000, but most are in agreement with anywhere between 1,000 and 2,000 up there. Supersonic composite probabilities are at around 85%. EHI probabilities are around a 74, and then the ensemble supersonic composite, some are showing up to 9, 10. Most are showing in between 3 and 6, which is why we have a mean. Look at the 500 millibar flow. We see some weak 500 flow overlapping this. We move on with time here, looking at the mean supersonic composite. And with over time, it gets a bit more bigger, but we do see potential event on Thursday and Friday across Dixie and Texas. That's actually pretty good agreement for being that far out. And after this, it's La La Land. We have no clue what's going to happen. Here's a look at the instantaneous flash rate via the 12Z Euro. So it looks like, yep. I think we've already went into this stuff when then boom. Okay, so here's where we haven't really gotten into too much yet. We'll just start to see these thunderstorms kind of move on. Looks like we get some storms to form up on Sunday. Pretty intense cluster forms up in Nebraska and Kansas. That could be strong to severe. I don't think I'm really expecting a risk with the day 3 outlook. Maybe a marginal. That's some pretty interesting thunderstorms there, right there in Iowa in the early morning hours. Probably going to be strong if this solution were to pan out. And then we start to see stuff form up in Minnesota. And it looks like we get a strong line of thunderstorms there around 7 p.m. Then if we get a larger line around, I think that's 9. Actually, that's 10. And then 1 a.m. we still see a large line moving down south. Then another line forms. More thunderstorms form with the next system. Pretty intense lines. You can see here Dixie Alley and other spots getting nailed a few times. And then look at those intense thunderstorms in the morning of that day. The morning of this, as I've already talked about, is looking very interesting. I kind of want to see more what it shows throughout the run. Pretty strong K index too, very interesting. Here are the ensembles. We're going to be looking at these mainly for the instability factor of the Cape. I'm going to zoom in here to the United States region that we're going to be mainly talking about, which is going to be the plains. The South Central region is the main region. We might actually move up to the Central Plains if I can. Northern Plains. Nah, we're going to be talking about further south than that. So I think the South Central is probably going to be the best region. Central is probably the best region to look at here, as we're going to be looking at this. So we're going to take a look at this. We're just going to go ahead. Here's Sunday. Easter Sunday, the values here. Most are showing you between 1,000 to 2,000 there. We're not really expecting a big event on Easter Sunday. Maybe an isolated thunderstorm forms, and maybe it gets severe. Monday, it looks more Monday looks like more a favorable event. Most ensembles are showing 1,500 to 3,000 Cape. Let's get probs for 1,000. Probs for 1,000 Cape are anywhere between widespread 40 and 50%, with isolated or scattered areas of 50 to 60 and isolated of 60 to 70. 2,000 is only a 10 to 20% chance, and I'm going to guess 3,000. Yeah, 3,000 is a 0. 500 joules per kilogram is nearly 100% chance for some areas, so that's going to be very interesting to keep an eye on. Here's the next set of members. They're pretty similar, but they showed a bit further south. We have a little bit of placement disagreements there with that. Let's move on to Wednesday here. Looks like more of a plains event is going to be unfolding here. Yeah, ensembles are agreeing with a plains event. Let's take a look at the mean. So it looks like, yeah, more of a plains event. Cape probs of 500 or more are a little bit lower, and then 1,000 are a lot lower. And then as we look on to Thursday, it looks like more of a Dixie to Midwest event from what the ensembles are showing. Now, at this point, the ensembles have no clue. They're disagreeing a lot more. Looks like Cape probs for 500. It's going to be mainly centered over Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Missouri. I'm going to guess we're going to have a little bit of probs for 1,000. Yeah, there's potential for 1,000 Cape across Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Louisiana there. Then as we move along to Friday, it gets a lot more uncertain. We'll look at the Canadian ensembles, actually. This one, we're only going to be looking at it for, like, the 500 millibar flow. Upper air wind, 500, boom. So let's look at the Canadian ensembles there. We'll go out to, like, what? Okay. Looks like Monday here. We start to see some flow. Looks like it's looking probable to see some thunderstorms across this area of the jet streak. Maybe somewhere. Looks probable we're going to see thunderstorms somewhere in here on Monday. And maybe we get strong to severe thunderstorms, but that's a maybe. Tuesday, it looks a lot more. That's a lot of wind shear. It looks like a lot more of a plains event on Tuesday. It looks like somewhere on the leading bank of this jet right here, we're going to see an event. So maybe a bit further to the west as well. Then Wednesday, it's looking like more of a Midwest to Dixie event, so something like this probably. Maybe up into Minnesota, we'll see. And yeah. I'll give one last look at the radar here. Still, we have that thunderstorm still ongoing. That's going to do it for this one, though. Thanks for watching. If you like my content, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.